Terra, Soul Star, Canis Major, sirius, Adronis. We are here at this time, and we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to the individual known as Jameel. Thank you, and how may we assist you today?
Hey, Adronis.
Hello.
Okay, so I was looking overall. Now I've pretty much left where I last was at. This time last year I was big into conspiracies.
Yes.
And I pretty much left. I feel like I've exited that realm of conspiracy research.
Yes, because it is only a phase, really.
That's the biggest lesson I've gotten. I feel like that's what I needed to get me to a new era in my life.
Yes, this is what we refer to as the Valley folk when it relates to the idea of spiritual evolution. It really just represents the idea that you are questioning everything and that you are understanding more in regards to what you have been told relating to the inside-the-box philosophies. So you will basically reach a point where that energy will therefore shatter, and you will basically be able to move past that alignment and now start to become what we would know as the mountain climber, which is basically being able to live your life in a state of improved self-empowerment.
Right. And something big happened in my life on the 18th.
Yes.
I thought, I was, from my perception, I was in a pretty scary situation, and then I left my house and nothing happened.
Something happened?
No, nothing happened. I left my house.
All right.
I was afraid to leave my house.
Yes.
And I left, and I was okay.
All right. Well, again, that's already showing you that you're ready to move into the next level. So basically, where there is that fear, it's also that other part of you in saying, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. As soon as you leave your house, you will be prepared for the next step. And so basically, you take that step, you realize, oh my goodness, I had nothing to fear in the first place.
Right. I'm just totally, almost, I'm confused. I don't know. Leaving for a long time, I was really attached to those old conspiracy subjects, and now it's just when I look back at them, it's just it's so, they look like baby toys. You know what I mean?
Yes, they are all just reflections of you at that particular time that was helping you to understand yourself. Because even though those collective-based experiences happen, you are looking at them from a very unique perspective, and how you look at them tells something in regards to how you see yourself, reenacting yourself in those particular agendas as if you were, shall we say, part of the situation itself. So it is more so in the idea of looking at those particular aspects in the past and saying, oh my goodness, now what have I done to grow from that? What created my ability to trigger myself to shatter past that area and walk into a new alignment? Well, again, your growth. You're now moving into a new alignment, and again, you don't always have to know what is your next step. Simply enjoy stepping. That's the whole point.
Yeah, that's what I've learned. It's today I talked to some guy on the phone, and he was interested in channeling, and he was interested in all this stuff, and he didn't know anything about it. And when I got off the phone with him, it's because I had been listening to Treb for a long time. I had been listening to you. I had been listening to Bashar. I had even done a channeling session, with Treb and Bashar and stuff in the past. And so I feel like now part of my aspiration is to help others, describe to others where they can go to get the helpful information,
Yes. So now you are starting to see the dawning of what you feel you are moving more towards. So the whole idea in that sense of being able to become passionate in being able to help other people is truly your calling. What you wish to do out of that instance is entirely up to you.
Right, right. That's so cool. Do you think I remember you told me before last time we spoke that like part of my part of the abilities I had was like instant downloads and being able to read energy off others.
Yes, this is what you refer to as an empathic ability.
Right. And I was sort of wondering about me getting the instant downloads. I was wondering, is there a specific entity in general that helps me with that, or is it just my higher self, maybe more in general?
Well, there are particular entities in that sense that are helping to, shall we say, straighten up the antenna so that you can receive this information. But in regards to how you are receiving it, it's all coming through you. So other particular forms of entities that will, again, work together in adjustments, they are, in that sense, working together in different planes of existence and may not be quite physical, as you would understand, are working together to calibrate your energy specifically within your, yes, chakra centers, and adjusting your body in regards to areas of DNA that are also being improved as well, too, so that you can be a much more receptive device.
That is so cool. I've been getting a lot of like feeling a lot like in my dream state, like I'm working with spirit guides and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's basically what is happening. It's mostly that the idea that these guides have been assigned to you to assist in your opening up of receptivity. And so they will adjust appropriately relating to the energies that you are ready to receive as a conduit.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Oh, I was wondering.
Some of these energies reside within the area of what you would know as Andromeda, the constellation.
Oh, the entities reside in that constellation?
Some of these particular entities that have helped in regards to adjustments, yes.
Is it possible you could describe a little bit about like their physical characteristics, if they have any?
Well, if you were to basically give the idea of a physical catalyst or a physical template relating to them, they basically are what you would know as pale blue skin beings. Very much human, just like yourself, but basically with pale blue skin.
Oh, that is so fascinating because in the last 3 years, I kept thinking of blue-looking beings.
Correct. These would be them.
I had a feeling that an entity named Rupert, that I identified as Rupert.
Yes.
Is that real? Was that real?
That would be an appropriate label to refer to as one of the Andromedan technicians.
Yeah, I was in my mother's basement, I did this big painting on the wall, and I had a feeling like this entity was connecting to me, and I was like, in my mind, I was like, well, prove that you're real, show me something, and the entity said, walk forward, turn around, do this, do that, stick out your hand, and then the entity was like, I'm the one who told you to just do that, you know? Like, kind of like...
Yes. And then again, that's giving you the idea that they are interacting with you, that they are communicating with you. And again, the reason why many of you find this hard to believe is because you feel that there needs to be such a practicality to everything. A practicality in feeling, well, can this entity actually just beam into my room physically and start having a conversation? No. And the reason being is because your Earth is basically on a very strong level of quarantine. And because of this quarantine, many beings in that sense can't just quote-unquote pop in. But as far as consciousness goes, as far as interlinking together with you telepathically, it is more than welcome.
Right. Oh, I came across the concept recently, and it's been talked about. People were wondering, is there a such thing as black extraterrestrials?
Yes, of course.
And do they look
what
like...
you would refer to as jet black?
Yeah, black like that?
Yes.
Do they
yes,
look...
They exist within what you would know as the Centauri constellation.
Centauri?
Yes.
Do they look like the black Negro-looking people of... see, I'm mixed. I'm black and white.
In a way, think of it in the idea of what you would know as your panther upon your planet in regards to that type of black. And that basically would be their pastel version of their own skin color.
Right. I was wondering about the Olmec statues that were found in Mexico and different places. They depicted like the wide nose, like black type people.
Yes.
Can you reflect a little bit on that? What that's about?
Well, again, these do represent the mimicking of the gods in that particular way, which we refer to as what others had referred to as deities upon the time of the Olmec civilization. And again, they have basically reproduced that in regards to particular drawings. These particular beings would reside within the area of what you would know as Procyon.
And they looked like black people? They're like the...
Yes, yes.
Oh, wow, so there actually is extraterrestrials that look like they have...
All of your particular forms of 5 seed races have all been part of other beings that exist around your cosmos. So all that represents the human beings that are upon this planet have emerged from somewhere else. You are all seeded races.
I thought black people... See, I'm mixed. I'm black and white, so it's very interesting to me, but
Yes.
I thought that black people came from, like, the Anunnaki who took, like, the primate species, like, I don't mean to sound crude, but like monkey or like ape species, and created humans from that. I thought that's what black people...
All of you are relatives to that form. And basically it was not monkeys that were taken.
Okay.
It was more the idea of the beings that you would know as the Sasquatch.
That's what I heard. I think it was Bashar was saying that had we evolved naturally, we would have evolved up to where the Bigfoot is now.
Yes, this has been shared in what you would know as the Law of One material, and there have also been others in that sense who have shared it, including ourselves. That again, the idea of your race and propagation, much of its primate template, was that of the Sasquatch race, which was once very abundant upon your planet hundreds of thousands of years ago.
So like I could be walking on the south side of Chicago, and I could see some black dude, and that he could that would be it could be extraterrestrial, and I wouldn't even know it.
Well, there is that particular possibility, but basically what we were saying altogether is that the seed of your genetics comes either from the primate template of the Sasquatch and are also in mixed varieties relating to other particular humanoid races that exist beyond the stars. So the idea of your Caucasian, the idea of your Asian, the idea of your Mediterranean, your African, etc., were all populated upon your planet based upon their energetic compliance within certain climatic zones to best reach a state of survival. And so this is why you often find that, again, black people in Africa in that sense are there in regards to the idea of what you would know as a climate specifically. The idea of the Oriental, again, in certain areas of Asia, and again, allowing a climate that is suitable for their needs. So again, this was in the very earlier times of your Earth relating to states of adjustment. And of course, because you have gone through 38 different reversions of your own, shall we say, template genetically, that you are now more so refined to be more of a global species rather than not, in that sense, accustomed to climatic zones, specifically within the Earth.
Okay. See, and that resonates a lot with me because I heard similar information come through as to the human was created in such a way to further environment, basically, like wherever.
Yes.
Right.
And much of the reversions that were happening was to making you more of a global species. But at first, it was more so appointed to climate.
Right. I was wondering a little bit about abductions that I may have.
All right. That you personally have experienced?
Yeah, me personally.
All right. What is it that you felt you have experienced?
Well, I felt like there's entities that connect with me that...
Have you felt something of a reptilian energy?
I have, yeah.
Yes. So again, it's not so much an idea of abduction as it has been in that sense, observation.
Have I ever talked to them face to face?
Not in regards to what you would know as a conscientious memory, but there have been interactions, yes.
Like in the same room?
Yes. Now, some of these particular forms of groups of reptilians, because you're not just speaking to one species, there have been ones in that sense that have been in that degree more so apprehensive, and in the degree in that sense attempting to bait you with certain forms of aspects that are not really natural to your own highest best good. And there have also been those in that sense to warn you of these particular types of beings. So it has been what you would know as a contrasting situation.
Oh man, I was hoping like the negative ones could somehow work with me and learn that they don't have to be negative.
Well, the whole idea in that sense of what you would term negative have been ones that have been communicating with you. But there is also another offshoot race pertaining to reptilian design that have also been, shall we say, protectors in that way.
They've been protecting me?
Yes.
That's cool, man. That's really...
This is what you would know in that sense as dissension within the ranks of many of these particular types of reptilian classes. Because there are those in that sense that want to utilize your body and your energy as a resource, And there are those in that sense who wish to have the opposite. And those that wish to have the opposite will often, shall we say, work together with you behind the scenes to ensure that you are safe.
Man, have they been working with me pretty heavy in the last month?
You have been, in that sense, communicating with these reptilian beings for lifetimes.
Yeah, that's the same thing Treb told me. Treb was expressing to me that there's one entity that me and him got in. I was going through the woods looking for food, and we got into a fight, and like
yes.
I could have killed him, but he spoke my language, so we became cool. And
yes.
Yeah, so he's been with me all along.
Yes. So these are offshoots of what you would know as the Draco race, but basically what you would know as different sub-races pertaining to original reptilian design.
You know, I always felt like there was some some hardcore type reptilians, but they were somehow supporting me.
Yes, there are. Again, it's not about thinking that all reptilians are quote-unquote bad. You've already discovered this by communicating with Treb.
Right.
So the whole idea in that sense is that just like human beings have many different levels of contrast, such beings like the reptilians have the exact same thing.
That is so cool. I was wondering, is there like regular people who also are like high up in other realms that they're humans that look out for me?
I remember. What you mean by regular people? Are you referring to appearance-wise?
I remember I asked you this before, and you were saying you couldn't get into it, so I don't want to press you again about it. If like in our last interaction, I asked you a little bit about it. I was saying, like, is there like human people that I'm not aware of that are on Earth that look out for me, but have like a high up position?
As we stated, yes. But again, we can't get into it too much because again, that would violate free will.
Right. Oh, it would violate my free will?
Correct.
Okay. Hey, man, I learned it's better not to ask stuff that you're not supposed to know.
Well, again, you can only ask the question to therefore determine what you can know.
Right. I learned the hard way. If I know something, keep my mouth shut. You know what I mean?
But again, there are many beings that are watching with you in that particular way. They are, in that sense, protectors. There are also those who are, in that sense, who are teachers. There are also the particular form of technician in regards to the being that you just spoke of, that in that sense is working together with you more so. So again, the Andromedan energy would be a very strong energy that is working together with you in collaboration.
I feel a lot of energy on me right now, like on my feet and my legs.
Yes.
What kind of, is this you guys?
This would be the idea of what you would know as you grounding the energies. That we are therefore sending you, not only us ourselves, but also those that are in that sense residual contact with you as well.
It feels pretty intense. I can feel the energy pretty hard on my...
Yes, so again, just continue to breathe in and breathe out. Let your feet be placed solidly on the ground and allow this energy to flow through you like a river that passes through you and into the ground, and feel again that energy moving back up through your feet and up to the crown of your head. So basically you are a two-way river effect relating to the fluidic motion of this energy that is being sent to you.
Yeah, right on. Hey, okay, so I wanted to ask you, Bashar had told me one time that I had a life of somebody like by the name of Randolph, last name Randolph, from the 60s. A simultaneous parallel. Can you see that, or?
We are not really getting the exact impression.
Okay, well, I was wondering, okay, I'll skip that question then, but do I have connections to the Greys?
Yes.
A lot of different ones, or?
Specific ones, yes, but they are more so in the idea of what you would know as the clone entities.
They're cloned?
The ones that you have been in contact with, yes. Simply the idea, this is what you would refer to as another life, that you have existed as a reptilian, and that basically the Greys, as you call them, had served under you in regards to this cloning energy that they were.
What, was I an ancient reptilian?
Well, we would not say ancient, but you in that sense have been around the block a few times in that way. But it's more so in the idea of what you would know as a sub-race, again, to that which was inherited to the Draco.
Oh, wow. That's pretty deep. I'm getting the feeling that I'm connected to a lot more entities than I'm aware, than I expect.
Well, you always are, but again, there's only so much that can be revealed to you at a certain point.
Right. So right now,
if you truly wish to explore this, again, this is where meditation comes in quite handy.
Right. Yeah, I've been getting really deep into meditation the last month. Like, yes. It's been like, I never really took it seriously, and then like in the last month, I went into some like really deep meditations,
Yeah.
and I do feel like I've been connected with entities, but I think the entities, in a sense, sort of backed off me because they wanted me to experience the meditation more in depth as an individual than to.
Well, they will back off when you request it in that particular way. They are not here to bombard you or feel that they are smothering you in any particular way. Should you feel that there is that intense energetic closeness, you can always tell them to withdraw a little bit further.
Right. Right. So I've been on flying saucers before in this lifetime.
Well, you would not really refer to them as flying saucers. They are basically what you would know as reproduction vehicles, and often what you would know as commonly known as motherships.
Wow, and this is like a mix of the reptilians and the greys?
The particular form of craft that you may be familiar with are the ones that look cylindrical or cigar-shaped.
You know what? I had this like weird dream. I was on this ship and there was a girl. She looked kind of like me. She was kind of like tan mixed looking, and she was on like a regular computer. It's kind of like an old looking computer. And then there was this woman. She was robotic, moving, and she had like blonde hair and big, huge blue eyes. And she was looking at me, and the way she was looking at me, she was like trying to intimidate me almost.
All right.
And I'm wondering, like, was I tripping, or was that like some real stuff that probably happened?
Did you discover this within a dream?
Yeah.
So again, it's giving you the idea of a certain form of metaphor. So the idea of the other woman that again looked apparently attractive, but was working more so on the idea of the computer, represented again a quiet or, shall we say, loving version of yourself. The other woman in that sense would be more so of the inheritance of suspicion.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Do you perceive me as having hybrid children?
That is a very challenging thing to state because, again, understand that many of you are volunteers, and when it really comes to the idea of the male form, much of the idea of semen in that sense is collected and is basically used in regards to multiple experiments. So we often say to many of them that have had these connections of confirmation of hybrids that, yes, you have children, but the amount of number is not always certain.
That's so deep. Wow. You know what? I was practicing channeling a while back, and I think I connected to an entity, and it described itself as being an ancient reptilian, but it said it had its own planet.
Yes.
Was that a real connection?
If you felt it, yes.
Yeah, I felt it, and I didn't know if I was like, because the channeling thing's so new.
Here's the thing. It's more about the idea of being able to trust what you receive in that moment rather than the idea of attempting to analyze. Because as soon as your brain comes into the point where it wants to analyze and scrutinize this thing, within seconds, you will then start to doubt it. So the very moment that that information comes through, write it down. The moment that that energy actually visits you, hold on to that moment. You are not imagining this. You are not feeling that this is something fantastical or something that has in that sense been induced through some type of fiction. This is truly what you are receiving. So when your Andromedan friend was basically telling you to move in certain ways, that was a genuine experience. The idea of this particular ancient reptilian being that has let you know that they have their own planet, that was a genuine experience. The idea of, in that sense, the two women that you just discussed, that was a genuine experience. Everything that you observe as what you know reality is through that experience is real.
Okay.
So the lesson here, put more trust into yourself.
Right. Right on, man. And that's what I've been learning in the last again, all this conspiracy stuff that I went through, it all accumulated to me trusting myself and believing in myself at the end of it all.
That's correct. Because all the conspiracy will do is causing you to continue to worry, to concern yourself in regards to what's the future of humanity. Right. Our particular perspective is that your world's not going anywhere in the idea of its feeling that it is ending or anything of that nature. Humanity will be around for a very, 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 very long time. Your Earth will be around for a very, very, very long time. But there will come a point within your distant future where humanity will no longer incarnate on the Earth. You will basically start to incarnate on other planets that you have personally shared in the space with other beings within approximately 1,000 years of your time.
Okay, cool. That's so cool. And yeah, what I learned is like a lot of people are into on YouTube looking at alternative subjects, and what I've discovered is like the one thing that keeps them from becoming them true selves is fear.
Yes.
Like what I learned about a lot of conspiracies, some of this stuff, like they try to say that such and such got hurt. Sometimes people didn't even get hurt. It's
Well,
all
the whole idea in that sense is that you put so much energy towards the conspiracy than you do yourselves.
right.
And you believe that the conspiracy is larger than you, when in fact it's just simply an event that you are putting so much incredible meaning toward that you therefore give so much energy to that event than you do yourself. And so this creates what the idea is, feeling that you are small or insignificant in comparison to this event, which is completely incorrect because you've made it grander than life. So it's basically just you doing it. You're putting all the energy into the conspiracy theories. You're putting all the energy in regards to these events and saying, oh my goodness, if this takes off, we're going to be in great big trouble. That is a meaning that you have just assigned to the event based upon your own programming of belief.
Yeah, and by doing that, you're actually helping it happen.
That's correct.
Right, yeah.
Because you are putting what you would know as an ocean load of energy upon this aspect. And again, that is a magnetic. So it's very, very important that, as you have already learned, allowing these energies of the conspiracy to shatter. Yes, there are certainly situations that have happened within your earth, upon your collective in that sense, that have been unpleasant. They're there to remind you of the unpleasantness so that you can move into another direction so you do not have to repeat it again. History primarily exists for the purpose to advance past it.
Right, right. When you were telling me the scenarios about the reptilian abductions that I went through, I'm trying to think like the good ones. I mean, I know it's not as simple as good and bad, but the ones who are more connected to my progression, like
those who have been watching out for you, yes.
Yeah, I'm wondering a little bit. Can you describe a little bit how they look, their characteristics?
They are somewhat very much lizard-like in that particular way.
Wow, so they're
what you would know as a bipedal lizard, or somewhat to the idea of what you would know as some terms as a Komodo dragon.
Whoa. So if I saw one,
that's a mixture between the idea of what you would know as a gecko lizard or a Komodo dragon. So they work in between those particular types of appearances.
And they don't scare me when I see them in person?
Well, it's depending on what you know. If basically one appeared directly in front of your room, they may seem very intimidating, but you will notice that the love that they emanate through you will not cause that fear to remain.
Yeah. See, that's it. When I connect with them, it doesn't matter what they look like as much as the energy that comes forth.
It is the energy that you basically feel, and you will basically be saturated so much with that love that you will completely forget of the idea of the illusion of physical appearance to create some type of emotional response that may be opposite of the feeling of love.
In like the negative entities, like even reptilian or human or whatever, has there been any people in states of negativity that I've helped in a positive way? Through their observation of me, they may have changed their perception a little bit.
What is it that you mean?
Just entities like humans or reptilians or anything that had a negative angle towards me or was in a negative state, and they observed my life.
They have a negative state. There is no form of change that happens. It is when they know that they move past that particular state into something positive that they know that something has taken place with you functioning as a catalyst for they themselves to give them permission to change.
Has anything like that happened?
We can't say, because that would violate free will.
Okay.
But it has the capability of changing, yes. But again, the whole idea is that you're not really the person that's being taken credit for it. You're just representing the idea of a catalyst that is helping that person to realize exactly what they have not been able to embrace within themselves, to therefore then embrace it. So again, yes, there is some type of energy that you resonate with as a reflection to them, but that's not stating that in that sense, oh, because of me, they changed. No, it's more so in the idea that because you represented an element of themselves, that triggered something within themselves to therefore state that there has been a permission made where I can therefore advance. So you are basically what you would know as the prop, catalyst, that allowed them to change.
And you can't say whether I met the person or not?
We can't.
Okay, all right. I'll stop there. I learned my lesson, man. I learned don't budge too deeply into stuff. Okay, well that's what I'm about, is like positive stuff. I think that's cool that I was able to be an instrument in somebody else's realizations, you
A
know?
reflection, a mirror, yes.
Right, right. That right on.
Just as we are right now, we are not giving ourselves any credit in regards to your state of expansion. You're doing all the work. We're just basically appearing as a reflection based upon your expansion.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think, Adronis, you guys coming from Sirius, um somebody such as myself, won't I have a simultaneous incarnation somewhere near where you are?
There's a version of you that exists in Sirius, yes.
Is that version aware of me here now?
Yes.
Oh, really? How closely does it connect with me, can you say?
Well, again, it is more residual in that particular way. It is not something that has had an introduction to character in that way. So there is no real particular form of premise that we can give that gives you an idea of identity that this being represents, although this being is here.
Right.
So again, everything occurs in divine timing for you to know if there is an introduction of energy that you are not yet familiar with.
Right on. Right on. So I like my simultaneous parallel lives. Um, it this life now is pretty like strange compared to the rest of them.
Again, that is a subjective reference.
My life like
there really is, and here's the thing, we cannot explain what strange is to you. You have to explain to us what strange means to you. So really the whole idea in that sense is that you have been through a great fluctuation of many different situations throughout this life and many lives previous that can represent or connotate the idea of strange. But only you can really define exactly what strange means to you in essence.
Well, I feel okay. I have so many I've had so many weird connections through this incarnation. Like one of my connections, I was told that I have a parallel life as not as a Nazi, but somebody who was like high up in the secret societies in Germany.
Yes.
Can you connect to that?
We can.
Okay. And I feel really connected with that incarnation in this incarnation.
Yes.
And see, because it's kind of weird. I went to Germany before, and I was at a concentration camp, and for some reason I felt really connected to the Nazi people.
Yes.
The SS Nazis.
Yes.
And I was trying to figure it out because I was like, I'm black and white. These people would have put me in a concentration camp too. You know what I mean?
No. You are black and white in this life. That does not mean that was the point in regards to this life in question.
Right.
You are not always the same race in regards to what you would know as consecutive lives. In that sense, there has been a part of you that has been Asian. There has been a part of you that has been African. There's been a part of you that has been Mediterranean, etc. So you are many different things. There's also been lives where you've been animals. So the whole idea in that sense is not about feeling that you are just sticking to the idea of, shall we say, a mixed race here in regards to how you currently incarnate. This is all part of that which serves your purpose based upon why you have incarnated in this body, in this particular way, to know what you know, to do what you do.
Okay, I understand that. They're all connections that are helping and assisting me as I am now.
There have also been incarnations with you as a female.
Oh, wow, that's scary.
That happens, though.
Yeah.
Because, again, if it warrants an experience of incarnation that basically serves a purpose, then that particular type of incarnation can happen.
Well, the incarnation...
We feel that right now you enjoy much of the benefit of being masculine, of the idea of the male energy, simply because there is many lessons that can be learned here through that idea before there is, in that sense, more opportunity of feminine design to come forward.
Yeah. The incarnation as the Nazi, not the Nazi guy, but I'm getting the feeling he was an older gentleman who was there before the Nazis.
There is an older gentleman energy, yes.
Right, and do you think, did this entity know?
This would be, in that sense, before what you would know as the popularized Nazi movement. It is more of what you would refer to as an ancient German sect or secret service, or what you would know as secret society.
Fool Society?
Yes.
Wow. Is there some connection to the Bilderberg people, too?
In a way, yes.
Wow. Did this guy know Hitler?
Yes.
Personally?
Yes.
Oh my God. Did he know Himmler? Heimlich Himmler?
Well, understand that this particular entity, Brad himself, was once a Nazi in a previous lifetime also, who in that sense also communicated with Hitler.
Wow. See, and I was always under the impression that, like, the German people, in a sense, were just as much as, like, kind of like a victim, too, of World War II, because...
Well, they basically were, in a way, because many of the people did not actually want to go the route that the Nazi movement wanted to put them, but because they had such a domination of basically say, join us or perish, that is basically what their mentality was.
Right. In the Thule Society, I'm wondering, like, the photographs and stuff, is there photographs of this guy out there? Of my simultaneous parallel?
That is uncertain at this time.
Can you see how he looked by chance?
It is uncertain at this time.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but I feel that energy pretty strongly though, from the Germanic.
But that is telling you something. What did we just say in regards to what it's feeling?
Yeah, I heard you. I don't know. It was just so strong. I just had to express it. But
well, again, that's the whole point. It's strong for a reason.
Right.
So if you truly want to know more information about this, then again, this is where you're communicating with your own inner circle. We are not your inner circle. We are more of an outer circle. So it is your inner circle that can provide a great deal more specific information relating to these leads rather than us doing it for you.
I think I might not want to know anymore though, because like it might lead.
Well, it's your choice. The information's there nonetheless.
Right. So okay, now I was looking at the people with red hair, like the Irish people with red hair.
Yes.
I'm wondering what exactly is the deal with that, because I've seen Irish-looking people with red hair like all over the world, like mummies and stuff.
Yes.
I'm wondering can you talk a little bit about where that comes from?
Well, it is shall we say, an extraterrestrial source root. So the red-haired beings in that sense can connect with the Orion constellation. They can also connect again back into areas within the Pleiades. So these particular types of beings themselves with red hair represent, again, a certain energetic that is compatible with your own Earth, with this particular type of race that is an offshoot race of what you would know as the Nordic folk.
And I've had a lot of connections with women with red hair.
Yes.
I seem to be most strongly connected to women with red hair.
Yes, you will discover this very strongly within your Gaelic, Scottish, Irish connections.
Oh, really? I have some connection to that?
Well, that is basically the, shall we say, part of the origin point in that way. Now, again, understand that the red hair folk immediately came from the planet that you would know as Mars.
Oh.
Now, basically, their own offshoot sub-races, again, were from Orion and from the Pleiades, and that they basically had races contained upon Mars that were what you would know as Nordic in appearance, some even with dark hair, dark eyes, and those in that sense that had red hair also. But they often represented different sects in that way.
Wow, that is so cool. Now, I'm not trying to make this seem racial, but I've heard there's like a theory out there that like the Hebrew people, the Jewish people, were from Mars.
Yes.
Is that true? Or is that like...
Well, the Hebrew, in that sense, if you were to connect more of the race that represents the Jews in that particular way, you would be looking towards Arcturus.
Where is that?
The Arcturus star is contained within a constellation that you would know as Bootes.
Bootes. Wow.
Bootes.
Okay, Bootes. When I listen back to this recording, I'm gonna look it up. Oh. Okay, so it seems like all of humanity is, like you said this before, so I'm just going back to what you said. We're all from someplace else. I have some connection.
Correct. There is no particular human being on this planet that is entirely indigenous to the world.
I'm wondering...
All of you came from somewhere else.
And is there, like, on the Earth... I remember when I was younger, I watched a Hollywood movie called Sleepwalkers.
Yes.
Where it was, like, cat people.
Yes.
Are they real?
Yes.
On Earth?
Yes.
And they walk the streets? Like looking human?
No. Not so much in the idea of their actual appearance, but again, there are those in that sense that are engineered from the idea of what you would know as the cat people. There are cat beings that you would know that exist in Sirius. There are cat beings that exist within the Pleiades. There are cat beings that exist within Orion. There are cat beings that exist within Lyra. So there are many different types of cat or feline races altogether. But much in regards to the people that walk your streets will be conventional in regards to the archetype of appearance that represents you in human form. Because if you were basically to see something so inhuman, it would frighten many of you.
Right, but they can change into a cat when they want.
Well, that all depends upon the person.
Right. Do humans, has there ever been a human who, like, had sex with a reptilian entity?
Not so much in the idea of the conventional form that we are aware of, but it is more so in the idea of the mixture of genetics that have happened in that sense mechanically.
Right. Are some of the reptilian people, like you said, some of them are like the ones that connect with me, they're positive, like they have to look out.
Again, as we stated, there are two different groups, and that they are an offshoot pertaining to the idea of the ancient race of the Draco. And so these particular beings, again, yes, represent a combination between the gecko lizard and the Komodo dragon.
Have they ever connected with the ones who don't want to look out for me, like the negative ones? Have they ever connected?
Again, as we've stated, they are basically dealing with these particular types of entities to basically creating a protection with you.
Oh, you mean...
As we stated, that your particular aspects of these two different sects pertaining to reptilian races have been clashing with each other. One who is basically on your side to assist with your protection, the other who wants to utilize you more as a resource.
But they made under-the-table deals?
No, they have not.
Oh. Okay, I misunderstood what you were saying. I thought you were saying they were, like, trying to make, like, sort of like a deal to leave me alone. Like,
no, they are not.
Oh.
The whole idea is that they are basically attempting to, through their numbers, keeping you safe. Basically what you would know in a way of an analogy, keeping you within a bubble to keeping you undisturbed.
Yeah, and I had connected with one of these entities, Adronis, through Treb. It was like what I perceived as the Naga reptilians.
Yes.
And the Naga was telling me that they had a place in Arizona, like they had caves and stuff like that they lived in, and he was telling me that a lot of what keeps me safe is my truth
yes.
of helping humanity.
Correct.
Right.
And you attract those in that sense that are, shall we say, in resonance with what you are projecting out, and that they see you in that sense of that loving value, and so they will protect that which they love.
That is so awesome. I had like this weird dream one night where I woke up, and it felt like there was two reptilians outside my window, like in the woods, psychically connecting with me.
Yes.
And I was wondering, like, do you think there's something to that, probably? Like the entities were...
Well, this is basically what you would refer to as the intrusive type.
Oh, it was a negative connection?
Yes.
It didn't feel negative.
They could only, in that sense, observe you from a distance. Well, the reason being is because, as we stated, you were in the bubble.
Right. For some reason...
This is basically why they're keeping it. Now, here's the thing. When you basically have an allied race that is watching you, they do not need to watch you from afar physically. Basically, those particular types of beings that are watching you from afar and attempting to make some type of psychic contact would be more of those who may seem intrusive. If a particular allied being in that sense that is watching over you wishes to contact you, those particular types of contacts will be obvious. They do not have to be in that sense in a type of scrutiny where they are in that sense feeling that their physical presence is far aside.
Right.
So the whole idea is that those particular beings will make more direct contact with you. What we are sensing here in this particular example are, shall we say, a reconnaissance crew that was basically observing you from afar. They did not do anything, but they were basically, in that sense, in observation.
Right on. And that's kind of strange because I didn't feel any negativity from them.
As we stated, it is what you would know as a reconnaissance.
Right.
Form.
Right.
They were not projecting any ill forms to you because they couldn't. As we stated, when you're in this blanket of love, no matter how much negativity in that way is outside of it, it cannot penetrate. Right. Now, in that sense, recently, you have had attempts for these particular beings to try and psychically enter your mind. But because you are protected under this blanket, those particular frequencies cannot take place.
Man, dude, they were. I think they were running some black magic on me.
That's basically how they work, yes.
They were trying, because I think I've been seeing things that weren't there.
Yes.
Are you for real?
As we stated, this is an actual art. Do you think that black magic is superstitious?
No, because I've seen stuff that I know was there, and then other people are telling me I'm tripping.
Your world is everything that you're told it's not.
Right.
So basically everything that you feel is fictional or something that you've seen in a movie. Well, understand that movies are a psychological weapon. That movies will put much of these particular aspects in a fictional genre to make it feel that if you try to talk about these things, oh, well, he just saw that in a movie. He's insane. So basically what that attempts to do is basically remain you staying in a form of victimization.
Right.
Because no one believes what you're saying because they may feel you just got that out of a movie. You just got that out of a story. So much in regards to your fiction, even though it has much truth in it, it can also be used in regards to an oppression to you, giving you the idea that many will put this out in plain sight. If you truly want to hide something, put it in plain sight. And make it feel that it becomes so outrageous that when a person says, I swear, this actually happened to me, people will look at you like you are completely bizarre.
Right.
That is a psychological weapon. This is what we refer to as psychological operations. These have all been brought upon tables of individuals who have stated that if we have all this information that's talking about extraterrestrials, that's talking about your occult, that's talking about the supernatural, let's put it all in plain sight and make it so completely outrageous that when people actually experience this, they'll be dismissed immediately because they feel that they have a fantasy-prone personality based on everything that we're putting into the movies and the stories psychologically.
Right.
So everything that you see within your movies, within your television, within your stories are very real, but they are classified as being fictional because of their outrageous melodrama that they contain.
Man, that is so far out.
This is basically what you would refer to as your Hollywood, being that of what you would know as a psychological operation.
Jeez. Yeah, no doubt.
So this is giving you the idea that such a thing as black magic exists. Such a thing as white magic exists. Such a form as occult nature or supernatural phenomena or extraterrestrials, elemental beings, inner earth beings, etc. They all exist.
And you know what, man? When I was younger, I used to have these dreams of these black shadow people.
Yes.
Messing with me. And
they represent different beings in astral states. But because they have such a low frequency, they appear as shadows.
Yeah. I didn't know what they were. I thought, like it was just a bad dream, but I used to have a dream that people would be holding me against my will.
Yes.
Right.
And again, these represent these particular, what you would know as oppressive reptilian beings.
Yeah. And
so this is why you were, in that sense, noticing the blanket, because now you no longer experience that. So this is giving you the idea that intervention has come in and keeping you sheltered from those particular types of energies.
Right.
That is their job to do. It's not yours.
So I'm wondering.
So the best thing for you to share is that if you feel that you are being disturbed, put out a call. Put out a call to love. Feel love within your heart. As you do that, this is basically the blanket that is impenetrable.
And I'm wondering, is that what happened to me in the last few days? Is entities have gave me a layer of protection?
Yes. There have been attempts, as we stated, recently this has taken place with these reptilian beings, that there have been attempts to basically psychically become intrusive to you.
Right.
And that there are these other forms of alliances that are working together in your favor that are blanketing you from those intrusions.
Well, I mean my physical,
No, we are talking about all levels of your being, period.
Okay. All right.
Everything pertaining to physicality, everything pertaining to your emotional state, your mentality, etc., to actually having them appear in your room would actually be possible had it not been for the idea of the sheltered love that these other beings are assisting you with.
Whoa, you're saying the reptilians could have appeared in front of me?
Yes.
Man.
If there was not intervention.
Right.
But But because there is intervention, they will not.
Right. Wow. So the love that I'm going through right now, going into 2016, it's strengthening?
It is. Because you're noticing it, are you not?
I do. I've been feeling love coming from nowhere.
Correct.
Like, I know it's coming
from somewhere, it's just not something that you can identify with.
Right.
The universe itself loves you. But again, because you cannot form any type of relationship of where that love comes from, the logical mind is attempting to assimilate this. What's going on here? Why am I feeling all this love, et cetera, et cetera? It doesn't get it because it's not capable of getting it. Only your heart gets it. So that's basically where you're telling your logical mind, don't worry about where it's coming from. I'm feeling it from the heart. It's not your job, logic, to feel where love is coming from. You're here to help me keep me grounded, to allow my continuity to remain strong so that I can venture through the journeys of life. But where I'm coming from right now, emotionally, from where the heart is coming from, this is what I am experiencing and I can feel, and I allow it to happen. Let it happen. Let us enjoy it. And that's it.
Right on, man. That's the biggest thing I've learned about connecting to love is don't question so much of where it came from. Just accept it. You know.
Not so much in the idea that yes, questions at times can be very, very beneficial for you. Again, through much of the questions that you're asking tonight. But at the overage of questions in that sense, from what you really already know in the heart, this is basically what is reminding you and saying the answer is already there. Feel it rather than thinking about it.
So cool.
This is why, again, you are integrating more of the feminine right now, and that represents the love, because you need to become more used to what the love of the heart is saying to you, rather than the logic of what the brain is saying to you.
That is so cool. I'm wondering, how much time do we have? I forgot to put my phone next to me.
We have approximately 7 minutes of your time remaining.
7 minutes? Okay. Okay, well, I was going to say, is there a way we can preserve the 7 minutes and I'll just buy like a 30-minute session from you? Next time we can add the 7 minutes on that, or is it 7 minutes?
If you wish.
Okay, can we do that? Because
if you wish.
I'm looking next month to connect with you on like another session. And
all right. So we will leave that for the conduit to explain to you as well.
Okay.
We thank you very much, Jameel, for the opportunity of this interaction with you this evening of your time. I am Adronis of Sirius. Thank you again, and we now return to the conduit. We will speak to you again, as now is forever, and all is one. Goodbye. All right, great. So yeah, Jameel, that's fine. You can definitely carry over the next 7 minutes to whatever the amount that you buy next time. That's totally fine. So I will go ahead now and send you the MP3 here in the next few minutes, and I look forward to talking again soon.
Okay, man. Hey, thanks so much, man.
No worries. You take care.
Okay, you too, bro. Bye.
Thanks.